next up we have the hissing song, Fire on Your House. This song, where do I begin with this song? Yeah, this album, is about the human. It's about all the different aspects of the human and being honest in all different emotions, And I feel like it's not that the song is not like the typical Trevor Hall song, but I think as we go through our lives, we kind of get perhaps caught up in the personalities that we have built and the image of ourselves that we have built. And I think especially when you're like an artist, when you're maybe more like in a public setting, you even do that even more, and you kind of like get attached to this, just persona of yourself, and you're not really relating to your real feelings, your own feelings. I feel like maybe, the way that, how do I say it? Like, I've been caught up. Yeah, I've been caught up in the image of myself, that persona, many times, and I wanted to be honest in all aspects of myself for this record. I wanted to really just strip down all the walls and all the BS in a way, and part of that was to release this song, That's my dog at the door. I've been in the music business for, I don't know, maybe like 15 years, and I've kind of, I got into it really young and went through all these, all the hurdles, I think, of being on a major label, an independent label. Now we're completely independent, and I just experienced so much. And especially when you're really young, you have so many people telling you what to do. You have so many people telling you how to act and how to dress and what type of persona to be, what type of persona to present. And when you're young, especially when you're young, I think we trust that because these people are grown-ups, they know more than me, but that doesn't mean that it's right or true, and as I went through that process, a lot of trust was broken with different folks, and I went through a lot of tough times, and I'm thankful for those times. Those times really brought me obviously to who I am today. But I would always hold that stuff in, I'd always hold that in because anger is not a part of my persona, and because I would hold that in, it became unhealthy because I didn't have anywhere to direct it. And music has always been my healer. It has always been my way of expressing things and releasing things. And I made this song not to release, that wasn't the intention of the song. It was just, I was here, I was at my limit, at my breaking point in a way, and I needed to just scream and shout and let it out. So I recorded the demo like this, and I only showed it to a few people, a few close friends, my manager, and they were just like, you have to release this song. Like, you have to be honest about everything and release this song. And I was like, no way, we can't do this, what are people gonna think? I don't wanna, whatever, blah, 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 blah. But the conversation was just, it didn't go away. And when we went to North Carolina and presented all the songs to Brad, he said the same thing. He really talked me into being 100% honest with everything, and really convinced me to put this song out to the world. And I think it's important to understand the difference between like hissing and biting. which brings me to a story that it really was the theme for this song. It's told by a great saint of India, and the story goes that in a village, in this open field, there is a snake living in this field, and none of the children would go play in this field. None of the villagers would enter this field because that snake would always, it would harm them. That was their belief. Because it would bite them like this and that. And one day, a mendicant, a monk yogi was passing through this village and was about to pass into the field, and all the villagers said, "Oh, no, you can't go out there. There's a harmful snake out there." And the monk wasn't afraid. He said, "I'm not afraid of this." So he goes out, and the snake comes out, raises its hood, the whole thing, and the monk gives this snake a talking to, and gives him a mantra, gives him a magical mantra, and says you should meditate upon this mantra and you shouldn't cause harm to anyone. And the snake, being taken by this monk and having this love for this monk, becomes a student in a way of this monk, and he follows those directions. He repeats this mantra and he doesn't harm anyone. Well, as time goes on, the kids, of the village and the people of the village realize, oh, the snake isn't really harming anybody. So they, throw stones at the snake, they pick it up and bash it to the ground and all this stuff, and the snake just gets bruised like this, and over the years gets really skinny and hurt and damaged and all this stuff, and eventually doesn't even come out of its hole, And about a year later or so, this monk returns to the village and asks about his disciple, his student, the snake. And they said, "Oh, that snake has died. We haven't seen the snake for so long. That snake has died." And the monk said, "That's impossible because of the mantra I gave the snake." So he goes out into the field and he calls for the snake, and the snake slithers out of its hole. It's all bruised and like this and everything. And he says, "Well, what happened to you?" And the snake said, "Oh, the villagers have been beating me like this, and I've just been here, repeating my mantra and not, harming anyone like you said." And the monk said, "Well, why didn't you defend yourself? Why didn't you protect yourself?" And he said, "Well, but Guruji, you told me that I shouldn't harm anybody like this." And the monk said, "I told you not to bite, but I didn't tell you not to hiss," And that was the lesson of this this story, was that we don't want to cause harm, right? But we have to stick up for ourselves. We have to defend ourselves. We have to show a bit of anger in a way to draw a boundary, but we don't lose love or anything like this. And that was kind of the parable behind the story, behind the song, or the inspiration behind the song. The inspiration for me, showing a little bit of hissing and releasing it in order to be honest, with all aspects of my emotions. Fire on your house.